Hi. Let me put this up. What's up, everybody? Tasha checking in with another video, and this is going to be my Love is Blind Season 6, Episodes 3 through 6 review. Y'all, when I tell y'all, first of all, welcome to the Redefine Me channel. If it's your first time joining me, go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Y'all, I did this video yesterday. And when I went to upload the video, for some reason, it did not upload right. And I didn't realize until I got to work that it didn't upload. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Because I was feeling all excited. I was like, okay, I got my content out for the day. Y'all, when I got to work and realized that it did not upload, after everything I went through yesterday, I was like, Lord. But it's okay. What doesn't kill you will make you stronger. So we gonna hurry up because I ain't got much time, because y'all know my schedule changed, so I gotta be to work by 12 noon, and I kind of live far from my job. So we gonna jump into this episode. It ain't gonna be long. These episodes, it ain't gonna be long at all. I got notes, so I'm gonna look down from time to time, of course, but let's get into it. All right. I'm on location. I'm not in my usual space. I am outside because I was like, I gotta get ready. So let me just go. All right. Love is Blind Season 6. This is going to be episode 3. All right. So Johnny met Amy. Y'all know that is the Caucasian guy and the Hispanic female. They finally met from out of the pods. They open the reveal bubbles. They run to each other and they are kissing. So much so, I was just like, they are turning my stomach. This don't make no sense. Why are they having to kiss this much? This is ridiculous. It was like, I'm not a non-affectionate person. I don't mind a kiss here or there or whatever, but they sound like they were slurping soup. And I was just like, okay, at a certain point, I was like, okay, knock it off. Like, y'all see each other, it's cool. Sit down, have your visual, and all of that, and just go on about your business. But anyway, they meet each other. We pan over to Laura. She's in the women's quarter. She's talking to the females. She's giving them flirting tricks that she has used in the past. And Laura is kind of funny, but it was weird because she said one thing that has worked for her as of lately for years was the stare flirt. And it's kind of like if you see a guy you just stare at him, you just be like, I'm just like, that would make me feel weird. I would be like, what is up with this crazy girl staring at me like that? But she says it has worked for her in the past, and that's what she's been going with. So the girls that she's talking to are Atmosphere girls. Again, they're not on the show. They just fill in the atmosphere. And so they're laughing, and then we move on to the next scene, which is Kenneth and Brittany, okay? So they're on their date inside both of their pods. When they get in the pods, well, when Brittany gets in the pods, she noticed that there are like light Christmas lights, like the fluorescent white lights hanging all over. And she also noticed that they have food and everything, and she's like, oh, she knows they have food and paint items, and she's like, oh my god, this is really nice and all of that. And then she goes and she asks Kenneth, what is your family ethnicity? And I was just like, here we go, this is Love is Blind. You are not supposed to be asking these. Love is Blind is supposed to be, you're supposed to fall in love with the person's personality, right? You're not supposed to be asking them, so your family, oh, I'm sorry, y'all, I was just checking my phone, make sure it ain't overloading, because child, we don't need it to stop like it did yesterday. You're not supposed to be saying, oh, how is your family? What's the ethnicity of your family? Now, keep in mind, there are situations where people are adopted. So they would consider their adopted family their family, right? And they may be a different ethnicity than them. But in this case, I don't think that's the case. So Kenneth responded to her and he said, my family is African American, and she was like, and he was like, you're white, right? And she was like, yes. So both of them are finding out. Excuse me, y'all, that was nasty. But my note, I don't know what it is in the morning with my whole nostril system, throat, everything. It's almost like in the mornings I have to clear a lot of stuff and everything. It's weird because I'm not sick, I don't have a cold, but it's like early in the mornings I have to go through that. But whatever. Yeah, I ain't come for that. So anyway, they find out what each other's ethnicity is. We pan back over to Laura in the women's quarter. She's talking to an atmosphere contestant called Sunny, and she's telling Sunny that she is excited about her date with Jeremy, but she says she is worried about Sarah Ann and their connection. Then we pan over to Jeremy and Laura. They are going on their date. Laura asks Jeremy, does he snore? And we find out on this episode that he does snore. He actually uses a CPAP machine. If you all do not know what a CPAP machine is, it is a machine for people that have sleep apnea. So you put the machine on your nose, on your face, or whatever one you have, and then it is supposed to shoot air into your nose as you are sleeping. Now, from a person who was diagnosed with sleep apnea, I have had to use a CPAP machine before, and when I tell you, it takes a while for you to get used to it and get comfortable with it, because I know several times when I was asleep, I would rip that machine off, and when I woke up, the machine would just be on right beside my pillow, right? It would not. I did not like the CPAP machine. It was just not cool. But some people have said that it helps them feel refreshed and wake up refreshed and all of that. And I'm just like, yeah, well, I guess. So anyway, what else? They start talking about holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas. Jeremy says growing up, he had a good Christmas. I don't know why my hair is looking crazy in this video, but whatever. Let's keep going. So Jeremy said he had a great Christmas and holidays growing up. That he did traditional things with his family, but as he got older, some of those things changed. And that is understandable. I loved holidays growing up as well too. Had the family around a lot, but you get older and things change. And it doesn't mean that your family doesn't love you or that something has happened. Most times, it's just that people get older. They have families and they have life and they move on. Laura says that she actually hates Christmas. I believe she hates the commercialization of Christmas. Like the whole decorating, buying gifts, things like that. I believe that's what she hates. I don't believe that she hates Christmas, the meaning of it. Because they both came to understanding where they said they agree that they want to make their own traditions with the holidays. Then we get over to Jeremy and Sarah Ann. They are going on a date. Sarah Ann comes in the pause, and in my opinion, when Sarah Ann was having this conversation, right, she tells him that she was wondering if her Botox was slipping, and she was asking the women in the pods. It's funny because when you look at her after she said that, she does kind of look like she's like bloated or a blowfish or something. She looks kind of like I don't know. It's something about her features that give me Botox and filler, right? She says she gets filler in her lips. If y'all don't know what filler is, that is something that they use to make your lips fuller. Like, okay, no shade to no race, right? But most oftentimes, Caucasian women have thinner lips. And because of that, some of them are cool with it. Some of them are not cool with it. So in order for them to get these full lips that they want, that social media is presenting to them, their form of beauty, I guess, they go and they get injections so that their lips can resemble that of African American women or other races of women that have fuller lips. Like my lips are not like that, but they're full. You can tell that they're, plumper or whatever. So some women who have skinnier lips, and there are Black women that have skinny lips as well. So that's why I said, any other ethnicity, but that filler helps them get that fullness. So Jeremy then asks Sarah Ann about her social media. He's like, how many followers do you have on IG? She says she has 4,000 IG followers, and he's like, wow. And then, I've came across people who have had 4,000. I've came across people that have had like 20,000 or more. And most oftentimes those people are like influencers, or they are people who take these really elaborate pictures and everything, or they are celebrities or what have you. And so then she said she has 3,000 followers on TikTok. Make sure my phone good, y'all. 3,000 followers on TikTok, and he's like, "Dang, you're popular or whatever it is." And I haven't seen her IG. I haven't went to it, but I'm pretty sure she has a bunch of pictures where she's just like, she gives me that. So he says, "Well, I'm glad you don't have the other platform." And she's talking about, "Are you talking about OnlyFans?" And he's like, "Yeah." And she pauses for a minute, and he's like, "Hello?" And she's like, "Yeah." She's like, "I don't have an OnlyFans." He was like, "Whoa, you had me worried," right? They then start talking about their political views, and we find out that she says she's conservative, which most oftentimes means you're a Republican. They could talk about abortions. She says she does not believe in abortions. She said if two people get together and they have a child, they should be adult enough to handle the situation. She said unless it is a sexual assault situation, then she feels like it's okay, I guess. He is a Democrat, but he says he believes that a woman's body is her body, that he doesn't have the right to tell her not to get an abortion or what to do with it. He also talks about his dad. He said he lost his dad at 19, and he goes to the cemetery where he sits there and he talks with his dad, and he just sits there on the benches and have peace. And he said he would love to take her to the cemetery with him one day. And I'm just kind of like, why are you making these promises to a woman that you haven't even, you have a connection with two women. He has a connection with Laura and Sarah Ann. You don't know which one you're going to pick yet, Jeremy, but you up here making these promises. And that was the end of that day. We get to Kenneth and Brittany again. Remember, Kenneth is the African-American guy with the twist. Brittany is the Caucasian woman. Kenneth asks Brittany to marry him in the pause. This was the episode 3. We're still on 3, where he asks her to marry him. She says yes, and she says she feels safe with Kenneth. Child, in my opinion, Kenneth's voice sounds like either he's talking over a megaphone or that he is like part of the LGBTQ community, or he's trans or something. It's something about his voice that's just very, it's ugly. I don't like it, but whatever. I guess she likes it, and if she likes it, then I love it. Then we get to Jessica. She is in the women's quarter. Jessica is saying how she loves Jimmy and that is her person. I don't remember who she was talking to, but she's doing all of that. Then we get down to Jessica and Jimmy's date. When they get in the pods, they're excited and everything for this date. They have spaghetti and wine. Jimmy is giving her more gaslighting. He's up here saying, I should take this Love is Blind wine, because it said Love is Blind on the tab of the wine bottle, and put it in our house. And I'm just kind of like, boy, you don't even know if you're going to choose her. He asks her what a day looks like for her. She starts talking about her daughter, like getting ready for school, dinner, working, all of that. Most adult stuff that we do. While she's telling him, I'm sorry, y'all. A call came through, so I hope it didn't interrupt the video. It's so annoying because it's these daggone telemarketers. It's like, and as soon as you block one, then they find a way to still call you. And it's always at the wrong times. But anyway, let's get through the videos. So Jimmy is cracking his knuckles while she is telling him about what a day looks like for her. She notices it and she says, are you cracking your knuckles? And he's like, yeah, I wanted to see your response. And she's just like, ew, that is one of my icks, something that she does not like. And he was just doing it to see her response and all of that. Jessica then asks him about his social media following, like who does he follow? He said he follows some comedians, people that he knows. He doesn't follow anybody that he does not know. Jessica says, oh, good. I just wanted to make sure you were not following like big booty girls or naked women. And Jimmy is like, nah, it's not on my feed or nothing like that. Jessica, let's see. Jessica says she is physically attracted. Well, her body it's weird. Her body is physically responding to him or something. I don't know what that means. Maybe off of his conversation, because they both said they feel sexual tension between each other. He said he's going to go to bed happy because of their date. And then we get to the men pod. And after their date, we get to the men's pod where Jimmy and Trevor is saying that they're in a love triangle, which they are, because Chelsea is the main interest in their triangle. Then we get over to Jimmy and Chelsea on their date. And if I keep clearing my throat, y'all, please forgive me. Like I said, in the morning times, I don't know what it is with my system. Like, I guess my system has to wake up because I'm normally night shift worker. So if I clear my throat and stuff, I'm sorry. So Jimmy and Chelsea has their date, right? They meet up, they're having sushi. Chelsea fakes cries and he's like, "You're okay, what's going on?" She says she doesn't want to hurt anybody in this process. Jimmy is just like, "You're so cute," and all of this. And I'm like, no, later on you're going to see she's not that cute. As far as her demeanor, not her outward appearance. So Chelsea said she got questioned by one of the girls in the woman's quarter if she was dating Jimmy. She didn't respond and said yes, she is dating Jimmy, and she said the girl got mad and that was the end of that. I'm thinking that it was Jessica that asked her, because what other girl would care? I don't think nobody else is dating him outside of Chelsea and Jessica at this moment. So Jimmy brought up Trevor, and I'm like, y'all on a date with each other. Why y'all bringing up y'all other connections? But anyway, I guess they had to fill in the gaps of the conversation. But you know nothing about this person. Like, I'm pretty sure there are several things that y'all could have talked about outside of the people y'all got connections with. But anyway, Jimmy brings up Trevor, and he's saying that him and Trevor had a good conversation, saying it's all good if he get chosen or if the other guy get chosen, because it's about choosing a person that's for you. Jimmy then affirms that Chelsea's news of her divorce is not the worst news that he's heard. So basically he's saying that Jessica's news of having a child is 10 times worse than her being divorced. And that's why, you know, Jimmy did not sign up for no child. Even though when Jessica told him about her child, he kept it cool and copacetic, but real talk, he don't want to be bothered with no child for real, because he said her news about the child is worse. He said he loves to have fun. He says being with Chelsea would give him the opportunity to travel and have fun. Chelsea starts crying again, which I don't understand why. Jimmy said he is falling for her personality and she's a special person. She cries and she says that this is what she came to Love is Blind for. Yada, yada, yada. Chelsea is the crybaby of the season. We already know that. Then we get down to Trevor and Chelsea. Yes. So we get down to their date. Y'all know Trevor is the guy that's the buff dude with the mullet. And we know Chelsea is the one that says that she looks like Megan Fox. So Trevor said she is the only person that he wants to talk to and the only one he's dated. And real talk, Trevor is a really nice guy from what he presented to us, right? I feel like he would have been a better match for Chelsea, in my opinion. He said he knows exactly what he wants. And she says, "Do you fear that I might not look like what you thought I would look like in your mind or something when you see me?" He says, no, that is not a fear of his, because he loves her. He says he loves her. Chelsea goes into a shock face. You know, she's real emotional. She's like, and then she says she's speechless. She says she wants to pass out and all of that. Y'all know she emotional. That's what she do. And then she tells him also that that's what she came there for somebody to love her. Chelsea's so giddy and happy. She goes back to the woman's quarter and she is telling the women what Trevor said about loving her and everything. She also says that she gets emotional with the women because she says that men used to be mean to her. She brought up Jimmy as well. Jessica was sitting there, and when she heard Jimmy, she was like, so Jessica gets up and walks away. She goes into the kitchen where she can eavesdrop from there. And, you know, basically, Chelsea is saying, you know, she likes Jimmy too and all of that. That's episode 3. Moving on to episode 4, y'all. We got like 10 minutes before I got to get out of here. I don't know how I'm going to get through all the episodes, but we're going to try. So, episode 4, Jeremy and Sarah. They are painting and having sushi. Sarah asks, does Jeremy talk during sex? Jeremy says, no, I think it's kind of cringy to be talking during sex. He said, if you're talking during sex, then you're not doing it right. And so she said being with Jeremy makes her feel alive. I'm like, dag, being with this dude you ain't never seen before after you've only dated him 4 times, 5 at the most, makes you feel alive. I'm like, you need to get a life, girl. So she says they do have sexual tension. Sarah says she's going to marry. They do have sexual tension. Then Sarah Ann goes back to the women quarters and she says she's going to marry Jeremy. And Laura is rolling her eyes because Laura is like, that's my man, my man, my man. Then we get down to Laura and Jeremy. She says she made a pros and cons list on Jeremy, right? And she says she ran out of room on the pros side, which means that he checks all of her boxes. He affirms her that she checks all of his boxes as well. And that was really the end of their date. They didn't have nothing going on. We get down to the most annoying couple, in my opinion, which is AD and Clay. Clay comes in there. AD is striking a pose with her body all over the room as she's been doing since she's been in the pods. And Clay comes in there reading scripture with his narcissistic self to AD. And he says that AD, he loves her because she believed in him and he gave her this whole speech and everything like that. And my thing is, what has this man done or been redeemed from that makes you feel like you believe in him? He asked her to marry him, right? Which totally shocked me because most of the women that get proposed to, they get some form of flowers or gifts or something like that in their pod to let them know that something is about to happen. Well, Clay decided that he did not want to bring any flowers or anything. Outside of the flowers, he brought shots. So he goes and brings shots. But after he read scripture, then he brings shots. And I'm like, okay, Clay. So when he asks her to marry him, she does this little squeal that is annoying. She's like, yeah, Clay. And I'm like, girl, I hate the way he says baby to her. It's kind of cringy. I don't like that. And that was it with them. We get to Kenneth and Brittany on this episode. It's episode 4. They are doing their big reveal where they run across the carpet and all of that. They both look nicely dressed. They're ready to meet their significant other. And Kenneth, I'm going to tell y'all this, his twists are on point. I love Kenneth twists. Whoever does his hair I would make a drive to go get my twists like his. I mean, they are crisp, neat, nothing out of place. I don't know if he had this person on standby while he was shooting The Love is Blind or what, but them twists was twisting. Okay, so they open the reveal, they see each other, they run out, and Kenneth reveals to us in his confessionals that he has never dated outside of his race, right? So he says it's nerve-wracking for him to not only be about to date somebody outside of his race, but to be marrying somebody outside of his race, okay? And I feel like that's why they won't work, but we will see later why they really don't work, which I thought was weird. Like, I call that they would not work for the mere fact that the racial thing is going to be an issue, not for her so much, but for him. But that's not even why they didn't work out. We move down to Trevor and Chelsea. Chelsea walks in and she has flowers, right? And I'm thinking, oh my God, is Trevor about to ask Chelsea to marry him, right? But he did not, okay? She gives him a gift as well. And so he opens his box and it's a bracelet inside. And the bracelet is, you're supposed to put the bracelet on, right? And whenever he taps it, it's supposed to buzz Chelsea. So that lets her know that he is thinking of her, which I feel like that is a very forward gift to give a man that you do not even know if you're going to marry or be with. Like, I thought that was really crazy of her to do that. Okay, he gives her flowers, of course, and then she also has a dog collar that says Chelsea. Y'all know his dog name is Chelsea. And he also gives her a rock that has love on it that he says he found. He said both of those things, he just found them and everything, and he feels like it is a sign that he is supposed to be with her. And I'm just like, yeah, okay. Chelsea, is touched, and she's like, oh my gosh, this is really great what you gave me. Trevor says that he loves to volunteer. He says when they get out of there, because he's very confident that Chelsea is going to choose him, when they get out of the pods, that he wants them to both go and volunteer at like a soup kitchen or something. She says that's great, I would love to do that. That's the end of their date. We pan down to Jimmy and Jessica. Jimmy makes her feel like he's going to choose her, right? Everything he does, talking to her. This is why I feel like I understand why she went off on Jimmy the way she did when he didn't choose her. And I'm speedballing a little bit ahead, but you know, if you watch the show, you know. This is why she went off, and I applaud her for that, because I'm just like, girl, he really did gaslight you a lot of times. But anyway, he says things like when we meet in our house, the first kiss we have, and all this other stuff that makes it allude to the fact that he's going to choose her. So, he said he's excited about the lust that they share and all of this stuff. So she has a box inside Jimmy's room with a bow on it. So he says, can I open the box? She says, yeah. Inside the box is this letter that Jessica has written to her future husband, right? Why is she giving this to Jimmy? I don't know. He has not chose her. He has not proposed to her. She could have saved this for her wedding day or her vows of who she's really going to be with and marry. And now she has to think of something else. Because the man she do get with gonna be like, didn't you use that same piece of paper on Love is Blind? Or those same words. So Jimmy is reading it and everything. And I feel like Jessica punked him. You know what I'm saying? Like she was trying to punk him into marrying her. Because she submits this paper to him thinking that, okay, this will win him. This will woo him. Jimmy gets fake emotional while reading it. He's reading it and he's just like... And then in the middle of the reading, and I'm like, Jimmy, don't give us that. I don't believe you. So then Jimmy doesn't give her the response she wants. He did say he appreciated it's beautiful and everything, but she wanted him to just be like, oh my God, you are amazing. I choose you. Let's get married now and all of that. But because he didn't give her the response, she got in her feelings. He was like, it's beautiful. Thank you. And she's like, I mean, you're welcome, bro. And he's like, don't do that to me. Don't try to put me in a friend zone situation. He says that he can't give her the response that she wants. He says if he don't feel like he really loves somebody, then he not gonna say it. And I'm like, and you shouldn't. If that word love is powerful, you shouldn't be throwing around love if you don't mean it. What else? So when he says that to her, she's in a pot like, oh, making all these attitude movements and stuff like that. And I'm like, see this, Jess, this is why you didn't get chose by Jimmy, because men want a soft woman. They don't want a combative woman. They want a woman, yes, that has her own mind, but at the end of the day, if every time with you, he has to worry about if his peace is going to be interrupted, no man want to deal with that. I'm sorry. And the men that do deal with it, it has to be some reason. Maybe they've been with the person for a long period of time or something. I don't know. But no man at this point, this generation wants a woman that's going to interrupt their peace. Okay, Jimmy, yeah, we said that. Jimmy said he not saying love unless he mean it. Jessica even goes and says to him that that's blasphemy what he said. And I'm like, how is that blasphemy? How is that a lie? Jimmy that's the truth. No one should say that they love somebody unless they really mean it. Jessica then says she's not going to chase him. She said maybe he needs a gentle person. And see that right there, I'm like, here you go, Jessica, you landed on thick. Don't no man want no woman that's going to be doing this to him, right? She says she's not going to give up though. After she comes on strong, then she goes and says, well, I'm not going to give up on you, Jimmy. Hold on, y'all. Let me make sure my phone is good, because it did some type of light change. And I don't want it to get dark and cut off. So, what was I saying? So, no woman wants no over-the-top woman, right? That has this strong personality, that's not gentle, that's not nice and all of that. At least in the beginning, anyway, if you get more bees with honey, like, why are you acting like that? But then she said she's not going to give up on him. They'll just leave it alone for the time being. And he said, okay, cool. She said, but one thing he would never do is she'll never leave the pods without knowing exactly how he feels about her. I said, yeah, all right. Jimmy goes back to the men's quarter. He confides in Kenneth, and he's like, about his date with Jessica. And Kenneth tells him to follow his heart with whoever he chooses and all of that. We then get down to Jimmy and Chelsea. Chelsea gives him a gift also. And I said, Dad, y'all just giving these men gifts like no tomorrow. So she gives him a gift. Chelsea, what else? Chelsea wants to talk to him because he comes into the pod and he seems a little down. She's like, what's going on? What happened? And he's like, had a bad date with Jessica. Chelsea is like, let's talk about it. He's like, I'd rather not. And she's up here bullying him to talk about the date. So then he goes and he talks about his conversation with Jessica. He just says it was terrible and all of that. He doesn't go into major detail. Jimmy says he loves Chelsea at this point. When he says he loves Chelsea after she is, giving him a piece of mind at this point, she falls out. She's like, I'm like, girl, calm down. Chelsea is so dramatic. She reminds me of like somebody who was auditioning for a theater production or something like that. She is just over the top. She says, are you 1,000% sure? He says he's 1,000% sure that he loves her. Okay, we get back to the women's quarter. Jessica is sitting there talking about how horrible her date was with Jimmy, and she's also saying that Chelsea has a date with him and somebody is trying to assure her that maybe he's breaking it off with her. Then in walks Chelsea, and she's trying to keep this straight poker face, but we can already tell by another movement that she did that she was kind of smiling a little bit, and Jessica is telling everybody that, or the woman she's talking to, that she knows that he didn't break it off with her because of the way that she's looking. Laura is talking to Chelsea. Chelsea is telling Laura that Jimmy said that he loved her, and Laura is like, wow. As soon as Chelsea was out of sight, Laura goes and snitches to Jessica and saying, he's not for you, this is not your man. And she's like, what do you mean? And she's like, trust me. I'm like, you know what, Laura, if you're gonna go snitch on everything. Tell the whole truth. Tell everything. Don't sit up here and just say it's not your man. Trust me. Ain't nobody gonna go off that. I'll be like, girl, tell me why you feel that way. But she didn't tell her. So Jessica starts crying and saying that she really loved him and all of this. And I'm just like, this is crazy. We get to AD and Clay. They are doing their big reveal because, Clay asked AD to marry him. They were just so annoying at this reveal. They both run out. He's like, hey, babe. I'm like, ugh. AD runs out. She say, Clay, and all of that. He gets on one knee, asks her to marry him, give her a ring. They sit down, they kiss and all this stuff. She couldn't wait to stand up and show her body to Clay. She all showing the booty, showing all of this and all that. He's like, ooh, like all he's thinking in his mind is less. She said that in her confessionals that Clay became a better person for her, and I'm like, how, Sway? I don't see it. And moving on from them, that's it with them. Jimmy is going over his decisions in the men's quarter with Trevor, which I do not understand because they had the same connection of Chelsea. Trevor on his face looked like he had sunburn or something. I don't know if y'all noticed that, but it was red up here, red down here, and I'm like, is Trevor okay? What happened to him? Then we get to Jimmy and Jessica. They're having another date. Jimmy says to her that it's not fair, and she's like, not fair to who? And he's like, not fair to her. Jessica wants straight answers from Jimmy because he was beating around the bush. Then he goes and tells her, he says, I love someone else. And then Jessica goes and snaps, like she turns into Katie Kaboom. If y'all know Animaniacs the cartoon, Google it, YouTube it. There is a character on Animaniacs called Katie Kaboom. And Katie Kaboom, she goes off. She's a teenager that goes off whenever she don't get her way. And so her family ends up saying, oh my God. It's Katie Kaboom. She's about to go crazy. She turns into a dragon. They hide, take cover. It's a whole big old thing. If y'all don't know about it, check out Animaniacs. It came on back in the 90s. It was one of them cartoons that I love, but that was a segment. It was like a sketch comedy type of cartoon, and that was a segment of them. But anyway, this is who Jessica turns into. She tells Jimmy, you ruined the opportunity for her. She said she poured her heart out to him, right, more than once. And she said she deserves more. She said he made a decision yesterday. And Jimmy is trying to affirm her and say, no, I did not make a decision yesterday. Hold on, y'all. I'm gonna start my car up and charge my phone because it looks like it's about to try to die, and we don't need that. But we almost done. We getting through it. So he said he didn't make a decision yesterday. She said she's heartbroken. She said she's not going to baby him, so maybe he needs that type of woman. She said when he sees the way that she looks, because Jessica is a beautiful woman, when she sees the way that he looks, he is going to choke. She said, not only are you going to choke, you're going to need an EpiPen to open up your airwaves. I was like, dang, Jessica, okay. So Jimmy says he has never been slammed by a woman like this, and that's the end of their date. Then we get down to, we're going to season 6. I'm sorry, this is season 6, episode 5. This is episode 5 we're going into now. Let me make sure. Yeah, this is episode 5. So episode 5, we get to Jimmy and Chelsea. There's flowers in Chelsea's pod, beer, and all this other stuff, right? Jimmy asked Chelsea to marry him. He quoted Blackstreet, "Meet me at the altar in your white dress." She said yes. And she said she loves him. She finally said it to somebody because y'all know Trevor been trying to get said he loved Chelsea twice. And Chelsea was just like, you're not getting me to say it. But she finally said it to Jimmy because Jimmy asked her to marry him. Now she has to go and break the news to Trevor. Chelsea and Trevor now has a date. She comes in telling him the whole it's not me, it's you speech. You're a phenomenal guy. Thank you for the hearts. You're a phenomenal guy. You're going to find a great woman. You are very positive. Blah, blah, blah. Yakety smackety. Trevor said, okay, this doesn't sound positive. She says she cannot give all of herself to him. Trevor is like, why are you giving this to somebody else? And if you are, is this going to make you the happiest? And she's like, yes, I am giving this to somebody else. I am in love with Jimmy and I'm choosing him. Trevor then says, how are you going to choose somebody that wasn't there for you 100% of the time? Trevor says, I was here for you from day A. I loved you from the beginning. And you go and choose Jimmy? This guy wasn't even on Team Chelsea from the beginning. He said he had a good speech too. He had a good proposal speech ready. And then he brings up a very good point, y'all. He says because she had a date with Jimmy first. He said, if I came in and had a date with you first, would you have said yes to my marriage proposal first? Chelsea paused and she was crying and everything and couldn't answer. And he said, well, that sucks for him. And it's crazy because I feel like if Trevor would have came in and asked Chelsea first, she would have said yes to Trevor. I feel like she just wanted to be married and wanted to be on the show, which is jacked up and crazy in my opinion. Trevor also told her he tapped his bracelet 1,000 times that day, and I was like, Lord, Trevor is laying it on thick, y'all. What else happened? Oh, yeah, so he gets emotional. Chelsea is already over there boo-hooing, crying, baby snot tears. He says, you can go ahead and leave because I don't want to leave the pods, crying, going back into the men's quarters. I'm just going to need a minute. I think Trevor would have been a better choice for Chelsea. Moving on to episode 6, y'all. I didn't take notes on episode 6, but I'm just going to tell y'all real quick what it was because it wasn't much that happened on episode 6. So that was episode 5. Episode 6 was simply all of the couples are now official, right? We have 5 couples that are on the show. We have Johnny and Amy, we have AD and Clay, we have Chelsea and Jimmy, we have Laura and what is his name? Laura and Jeremy, and we have Kenneth and Brittany. Now, Laura and Jeremy, of course, I didn't talk about his proposal to her, but he was the last one that proposed. He did choose Laura. He did not choose Sarah Ann, and now those are the 5 couples that we have. On episode 6, they are all meeting up. They find out that they're going to the Dominican Republic for their honeymoon. this show does a honeymoon before the wedding, which I thought was pretty interesting. But they're going to Dominican Republic. They're meeting up with all the couples. We see all the couples. They're going on a beach. They're having food and everything. All of the couples are making their entrance. Something interesting that happened when they met. Jimmy saw AD and he saw her booty back there, and he mentions to Chelsea, wow, that girl is stacked. And so Chelsea then yells out to AD in front of everybody, "Hey, AD, how you get a booty like that?" AD goes and turns around and do a little shimmy, and she says, "Squats and Jesus." I said, child. So then fast forward, Laura then, I guess, dares Jeremy to bean dip AD. Now, I didn't know what bean dip meant until I watched this episode, and I had to even Google it after that. Bean dip is when somebody goes up to a man or a woman and flicks their boob, like just plucks their areola or nipple area. I said, child, what? I said, who would do that? Nothing but white people. So Laura goes and she tells him that. He was like, I'm not doing that and all of that. So AD comes and sits down near Laura, Jeremy, and all some of the other cast members. Clay was right there as well. And then it's revealed that Jimmy said that Laura wanted me to bean dip you. And I'm like, dang, Jimmy, way to roll her under the bus. That's supposed to be your future wife. Lauren said it was a joke. AD took offense to it, which I don't know why, because since she's been on this show, she's been showing off her body, and she even just twerked a few minutes ago. Like, the nerve of you to want to bean dip me, but then she in the beginning up here twerking and stuff in front of people saying squats and Jesus and all this stuff. I said, girl, bye. Clay didn't feel no way about it. He was just like, it is what it is. Clay don't care. All he wants to do is smash AD, and that's it. He ain't caring about what nobody says about no bean dipping and all that, and what they want to do, as long as they don't take his woman that has the body. And that was all that I could think of. That last thing that happened on that episode, Chelsea is a psycho, and y'all gonna see why she is later. She got mad at Jimmy because after Jimmy, she asked AD how she get a booty like that, Jimmy begins to have a conversation with AD. And at first I thought it was a flirty type conversation. I was like, dang, Jimmy, the nerve of you to be flirting in front of your future wife. But it wasn't. All he was doing was just having a conversation with her because he worked the room and was talking to all the other couples, right? But Chelsea didn't like that. When they got back to their room, Chelsea is just like, you didn't consider my feelings. Why were you all up in her face? Blah, 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 blah. And Jimmy is confused because he's like, all I was doing was having a conversation or talking. And she's talking about you making a comment about her body and all this stuff like that. But Chelsea, you went and then said out loud how you get a booty like that. Like, if you wasn't with what he did, like, don't open a can if you're not willing to deal with what happens. Like, don't do that. Like, if he would have said something like that to me and I was his woman, I would have checked him right then and there and said, do not ever talk to me about another woman's body. Then I would have been on Chelsea's side if she would have had this conversation later on with him. But she's the one that opened up the can of worms, and now you won't get mad when the man talks to her because she is self-conscious about the way that she looks in comparison to AD. So I'm just like, and she kept on asking him, are you really here? Are you really here for me? The whole time they were at this hotel, on this beach, or wherever they were at, she asked Jimmy several times, are you here for me? Do you want to do this? Do you want to be with me? Do you want to be with me? And I was getting sick of it. I started saying, Jimmy, why don't you just say, nah, I don't want to do this anymore and move on? But he's going to stick it out because, they were mingling. Like, and the fact that he made a comment, yes, you should have made a comment like that to a woman that's going to be your future wife. However, the future wife should have deaded it right then and there and not allow him to continue in the comment. But anyway, we will see how it goes on. That was season 6, episode 3 through 6, y'all. We got through it. Whew. If it's your first time joining me, thank you for joining the live. Go ahead and like, comment, and most importantly, subscribe to the channel. Let me know which couple you think is going to last and what couple you think is not going to last. I am going to aim to do episode 7 through 10, I believe. I hope to. I have to go out of town this week, but I'm going to aim to do that. I'm probably going to be on a different location doing it, but I'm going to aim to do that definitely this week, because they're already well into episode 7 and beyond. So yeah, y'all, thank y'all for joining me. Y'all have a happy, blessed day, and I will talk to y'all later on. Bye now.